everybody to this meeting to discuss the traffic calming plan for Edgebrook Drive and Brandon Avenue. And we can start with introductions. And from FCDOT, we have Saul, Ryan, and Nicole. And from the Franconia District Supervisor's Office, we have Aaron Campbell. Nicole has a short presentation to go through, and after the presentation, we'll open the meeting up to the community for any questions or comments. And if the community task force members or if any of them are logged on tonight, they can introduce themselves during this portion of the meeting. Saul is joining the meeting to help translate any of tonight's presentation into Spanish, or if there's any help needed in asking a question or making a comment in Spanish. Saul, would you be able to say a few words before we start the meeting?
Muy buenas tardes, sí, mi nombre es Saúl Ciesa y estoy aquí para poder despejar cualquier pregunta que tengan en español, por supuesto. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Saul. It does not look like Aaron has joined yet, so Grace, you can, or Nicole, I'm sorry, you can go ahead and start the presentation if you'd like.
Thanks, Steve. Okay, well, welcome in, everybody. As Steve mentioned, we're here to discuss the traffic calming plan for Edgebrook Drive and Brandon Avenue. To start, I would like to note that Fairfax County Department of Transportation and Fairfax Connector operate programs and services without regard to race, color, and national origin in accordance with Title VI of the Civil Rights Act. For more information, you are welcome to visit the website that is posted here. It's www.fairfaxcounty.gov/connector/Title VI. So just to let you know, or please note that this session is being recorded. Please hold all questions till the end of the presentation, and instructions for how to ask your question will be provided at the end of the presentation. So we're here today to explain the traffic calming process, provide an opportunity for community feedback, and answer any questions that you all might have. So what is traffic calming? Traffic calming is the installation of physical devices to reduce vehicular speed. These devices can be either vertical or horizontal. Vertical devices can be driven over, such as a speed hump, as you can see in this upper left-hand image, while horizontal devices can be driven around, as you can see in the upper right-hand image. Both types of devices make the roadway safer for drivers and pedestrians. I also would like to note that through this process, we are not permitted to install stop signs. So here we have charts and images showing the effects of decreased speed. As speed decreases, visual acuity, depth perception, and field of vision increase. We also can see a decrease in stopping distance. Here we have a map displaying traffic calming projects across Fairfax County, with over 279 projects resulting in more than 665 installed devices countywide. Every district has implemented traffic calming measures, so chances that you have driven over one of them are pretty high. And FCDOT and the District Supervisor's Office collaborate with citizens and all community-initiated projects. So all the projects that you see here on this map have been community-initiated. The program can be broken up into 5 steps. So step number 1 is project initiation. Step number 2 is plan development. Step number 3 is community engagement. Step number 4 is ballot phase. And the final step, which step number 5, is project installation. So to start with step number 1, project initiation, all traffic calming projects are community initiated, like I said before. The process begins with a request from the community to the supervisor's office. Once the request is received, FCDOT will complete a basic eligibility review. If eligible, FCDOT will then conduct a traffic study. and if eligible and or eligibility and traffic study requirements are met, the community will then form a task force. So there are basic eligibility requirements that need to be met. The road must be VDOT maintained, have a 25-mile-an-hour speed limit, be functionally classified as a local, collector, or arterial. And if it's a collector or arterial, it has to be a residential street. So once passing basic eligibility requirements, we move on to conduct a traffic study. So for volume criteria, we need between 500 to 6,000 vehicles in 24 hours, both directions combined. So for Edgebrook Drive, we had 872 vehicles, so we met the volume criteria. For speed criteria, we need the recorded 85th percentile speed needs to be greater than or equal to 10 miles per hour, over the posted speed limit. So what this means is that 15% of vehicles will need to be traveling 10 miles per hour over the posted speed limit or faster in at least one direction of travel. So the 85th percentile speed was found to be in the eastbound lane 42 miles per hour, and in the westbound lane was 34 miles per hour. So, which means that Edgebrook Drive met the speed criteria in the eastbound lane. We also did a study, traffic study on Brandon Avenue. Brandon Avenue, we had 2,665 vehicles in a 24-hour period, so it met the volume criteria. And for the speed criteria for Brandon Avenue, the 85th percentile speed was 34 miles per hour in the northbound lane and 35 miles per hour in the southbound lane, which means Brandon Avenue met the speed criteria in the southbound lane. So the next step is plan development. FCDOT will conduct a site visit in the field in order to develop a draft plan. Once a draft plan has been developed, FCDOT will meet with a task force to obtain feedback and amend the plan if necessary. Then, once the task force is satisfied with the draft plan, the property owners directly adjacent to any proposed measures must sign off on the device placement before proceeding to the next steps. So there are device placement requirements for vertical devices. The device must be a minimum of 300 feet between measures and from existing stopping conditions, a minimum of 150 feet from an intersection, a minimum of 150 feet for continuous sight distance, and it also has to fit on the existing roadway, so we have to take into consideration any manholes, utilities, driveways, and we also have to count for the grade of the road. So based on those requirements, we created a field map that gives us an idea of where we can place a device. Highlighted in green are possible locations on Edgebrook Drive and Brandon Avenue. So after reviewing the field map, we then conduct a field review in the field on the road to see if the device can fit on the existing roadway. So based on available options, our site visit, FCDOT is able to propose 3 speed humps along Edgebrook Drive and Brandon Avenue. The listed addresses are those of the property owners who signed the adjacent property forms because the devices are directly adjacent to their property. Here we have a speed hump schematic. The speed hump is 12 feet long and is 3 inches high at center. There will be white chevrons in each travel lane and a speed hump signs with a recommended speed of 15 miles per hour on each side of the speed hump. This image is a larger image looking from the side of the road. And once again, it is going to be 12 feet long and 3 inches high at the center. So step 3 is the community meeting, which we're here today. At this stage, FCDOT presents the plan to the community to gather feedback. Based on this feedback, the task force will decide whether they want to amend the plan or move forward to the next phase. If the task force decides to move forward, we will then move to the next step, which is ballot phase. So step number 4, ballot phase. During this step, each occupied property in the ballot area will receive 1 vote, and we'll need to send that vote directly to the district supervisor's office. The ballot time period will be open for a minimum of 3 weeks, and the supervisor's office will tally the votes and notify the task force of the results. On this slide, we have an example of a ballot. The proposed devices will be listed on the ballot, and the community will be voting on the entire plan. The task force is responsible for distributing the ballot package to everyone in the ballot area. There are 3 ways to return your ballot by the deadline. So 1, you can mail the ballot directly to the supervisor's office. You can hand deliver it directly to the supervisor's office, or you can email it directly to the supervisor's office. Please note that all ballots must be returned directly to the district supervisor's office using one of these 3 methods. Any ballots collected by the task force will not be counted. So here we have the ballot area map for Edgebrook Drive and Brandon Avenue. There are 48 ballots, and in order for the proposed plan to move forward, we will need greater than 50% of all occupied properties to vote in favor. So what this means is that we will need 25 yes votes in order for the plan to move forward. So if we get the required number of yes votes, and we can move to step number 5, which is project installation. The traffic calming plan will be presented to the Fairfax County Board of Supervisors for endorsement, and a resolution will be sent to VDOT. Once endorsed and VDOT accepts the resolution, FCDOT will work with the Department of Public Works and Environmental Services to schedule installation. And finally, the traffic calming plan will be installed. So after tonight's meeting, the task force will need to follow these next steps. So the task force notifies FCDOT, the Fairfax County if they would like to move forward with the presented plan that we presented tonight. An optional meeting is available to meet with FCDOT to review the ballot process. This meeting is highly recommended to ensure a smooth balloting process. Task force and supervisor's office notify FCDOT if ballots in the ballot area are to be distributed to the property owners or occupants. Then the task force completes the ballot cover letter provided by FCDOT, including the task force contact information, ballot received by date, which is the ballot close date, and any additional message that the task force would like to include. Then the task force sends the completed ballot cover letter to FCDOT for approval. Once approved, they will then receive the verified ballot package from FCDOT. And for the final step, the task force will need to print and distribute the ballots to all properties, occupied properties in the ballot area. So this concludes the presentation, and now we can move on to questions and answers portion of the meeting for tonight. You have 2 options to ask your questions, chat or speak. Once the chat item is activated on Teams, you can use it by typing in your question. If you want to speak, please click the raise your hand icon, as you can see here on the screen. And once the host calls on you to speak, you can unmute yourself by clicking the mic icon or press Control-Shift-M and on your keyboard. Please lower your hand once you are done asking your question. If you are on the phone, please press *5 to raise your hand. When it is your turn, the host will call on you and will send you an unmute request. Press *6 to unmute and ask your question. Once you are finished, press *5 again to lower your hand and push *6 to unmute yourself. And I know that is quite a handful of options that you have. We can always revert back. So feel free at this time to ask any questions that you all might have. Thank you very much. Okay, so it looks like we have several hands raised. So Florence Blanc, you have your hand raised. You can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Yes, hello.
Hello.
My name is Florence, and I live in Edgebrook Drive, and I think that the device is just close to, in front of my my house. So I was just wondering, there is no speed limit on Edgebrook Drive. That's it's you know, they're coming from Backlick, which is 30 miles an hour, to Edgebrook, which is 25 miles an hour. So there is no sign for it. So no speed limit sign.
Well, there is one speed limit sign on Edgebrook as you come off of Backlick. So it's like immediately as soon as you come onto the street, there is
Okay,
one.
well, it's not very visible, but anyway, I was just wondering, I mean, I'm kind of skeptical about it because I've been, you know, I've been talking to some of the people, and is it a hazard for the fire department and for the trash company? I mean, I'm just wondering. I'm kind of. I just want to have some information. You know, can we put? I mean, signal before we do this this bump?
I'm not certain what kind of signal you would want to put.
I'm not sure, but is it a hazard to have for the fire department to have the speed bump, and for the trash
So
truck?
So the fire and rescue are probably going to have about a 3 to 10 second delay going over each device. Okay. The trash trucks, you know, as Nicole had said earlier in the presentation, we put these devices in all throughout the county, and the trash trucks are still able to, you know, go over the speed humps. Okay.
And can we park on the speed bump?
Yes, you can park on them.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. And
All
how
right.
much would it cost for the? How much would it cost for the community?
There is not going to be a cost for, to the community, so this is paid for by Fairfax County.
Okay. Yeah, but
Okay.
but how much does it cost to have a speed bump? Just to have an idea. You're talking about 3 speed bump.
Right, and so 2 of the speed humps are a little bit shorter than typical just because of the raised median on Edgebrook.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that we're probably going to be looking at somewhere around $30,000 for this installation. What do you think, Nicole?
I'd say that's a good estimate. It could go a little bit lower or a little bit higher, just depending on how things increase with time.
Okay, so we do have a dedicated fund source for the construction of these devices.
Okay, and the maintenance is VDOT because we have a median, and VDOT apparently is supposed to take care of the median. It hasn't been taken care of for many, many years. So is VDOT going to take care of all the damage that the snow, with the snow or all the damage? Who is going to take care of the speed bump if they are damaged or any kind of, with the snow? I don't.
So once the device goes on the road and they've accepted it into their secondary road program, it will fall to them for maintenance. So it will fall to VDOT to maintain that device.
Okay, because if they take care of it like they are taking care of the median, it's going to be an issue.
So, I mean, typically you're only going to see the same wear and tear as you do on the rest of the roadway.
Okay,
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for your questions.
thank you.
All right. Our next hand raise is from 703-283-8314. I will unmute your mic and please ask your question.
Hi, this is Ophelia Meneses. One of the task force is here. Just wanted to also, if someone can translate that information to Vilma, please, about Florence concerns, or is that going to be typed up?
Well, we can ask Saul if you would be able to translate. I don't know if we're going to be able to translate every question, but Saul, if you can give a short synopsis of what we discussed. It was basically a question about, the funding source, who pays for it, who maintains. So Fairfax County does pay for the installation. VDOT does maintain the devices. And there is about a 3 to 10 second delay for each device for fire and rescue. If you can just kind of let people know that in Spanish, Saul, that we would greatly appreciate it.
Sure. Entonces hay una diferencia entre el tema de las instalaciones, son fondos que son cubiertos por Fairfax County, y el mantenimiento de las mismas sí tiene que ver con la Autoridad de Transporte de Virginia, conocido en inglés como VDOT, ¿no? Virginia Department of Transportation. Stephen, can you repeat that, the delay again, please?
About a 3 to 10 second delay for each device location to fire and rescue.
Oh, sí, hay un retraso de 3 a 10 segundos en el caso de que haya una emergencia para lo que es asistencia de bomberos y todo este tipo en caso de emergencia. Hay un retraso solamente entre 3 y 10 segundos. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Saul.
You're welcome, Stephen.
Okay, ¿tenía preguntas, Vilma? No tiene preguntas. I did have a question regarding the ballots. Do I have to provide each ballot, go to each houses again and deliver the ballots individually?
Correct. So the task force will be responsible for printing out and delivering the ballots to the 48 addresses that are going to be in the ballot area. Okay. And so, as Nicole said, we do have a meeting that we can schedule with the task force following this meeting. and we'll go over in greater detail that ballot process.
Okay. Okay, good.
Okay?
So I'll be the one delivering each one of them to each house. Okay.
Okay. And we'll
That's
have
good.
a PowerPoint and we can send that to you and you can use it as guidance.
Great. And then one good thing you're recording this as well, because I had one gentleman call me earlier saying that he wasn't going to attend the meeting, so he wanted just this recap to be sent to him.
Okay. And so it will be available on YouTube in about a week following the meeting date. Okay?
Okay. Can this presentation, this PDF, also be sent to me? 26
Yeah, so
pages?
we sent this out to Aaron. So we sent
okay.
Saul did a gracious help to us, and he translated it into Spanish. So we sent the English and Spanish version over to Aaron today. So he should be able to get that to you guys shortly.
Alrighty. I guess that's all my questions. I'm good. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. And like we had said earlier, if you decide to go to the ballot process, we highly recommend reaching out to Aaron at the Franconia office and scheduling a follow-up ballot meeting. Okay?
Okay, so I have to call him to send a, okay. Or I can speak to him on the phone as well? Or do, I mean,
You can email, however you guys have been in contact. I would just contact Aaron, and we can all work together like we've been doing throughout this process of just scheduling a meeting. It won't take more than 30 minutes. We just want to make sure that we cover all the steps and in detail for the task force, and so it can help you guys know and make it kind of clearer for you guys to understand what processes you need to do next.
okay. Sounds good.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Ryan, it does look like we have another hand raised.
Yeah, it looks like it's from the 8314 number. So if you want to keep asking questions, go for it. I think I still have your mic abled.
So if the person at 8314 would like to ask a question, you can unmute yourself and go ahead and ask.
I'm done. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and we do have the chat available as well if you are unable to get your mic working or prefer to ask your question or have a comment. Please utilize the chat, and then I have the instructions on how to raise your hand and ask questions.
And Nicole, if you would like to go to like the contact page. So right now up on the screen, it does look like most people have contacted through the phone, but we can read this off to you really quick. We do have follow-up contact information. So if you do want to reach out to anybody at FCDOT, you can email to dotinfo@fairfaxcounty.gov with Edgebrook Drive and Brandon Avenue traffic calming in the subject line. And that email will find its way to one of the people attending the meeting tonight, or you can call 703-877-5600 and ask to talk to somebody about the Edgebrook Drive and Brandon Avenue traffic calming process. The same goes for the Franconia District Supervisor's Office. You can email at franconia@fairfaxcounty.gov with Edgebrook Drive and Brandon Avenue traffic calming in the subject line, or call 703-971-6262. And you can speak with staff at the Franconia office about the Edgebrook Drive and Brandon Avenue traffic calming process. Okay, we can leave the meeting open for a couple more minutes, but it does look like we have talked to everybody that's raised their hand and indicated that they had a question or a comment. But we can leave it open for another minute or two and then probably go ahead and end for the evening.
As stated before, we are recording this meeting. So as we mentioned, it will be made available within a week or two after tonight's meeting. And we'll provide that information over to Aaron at the district supervisor's office. So you'll need to contact the district supervisor's office to obtain that recording. And I will be sure that he shares it off with the task force as well, so they can share it as well.
All right, well, I think we will go ahead and finish for tonight. And like Nicole said, this will be made available to anybody that would like to see it, or the PDF of the slides will also be at the supervisor's office, and you can request them through Franconia District Supervisor's office. I want to thank everybody for attending tonight and have a pleasant evening.
Thank you all. Have a good evening.